Did you see the fight that's reportedly being worked on for December 19th in Miami?
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know which fight I'm talking about?
No.
Fair enough.
Oh, Jesus. That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea.
Paul going into a fight with Anthony Joshua, to me, is absurd. I mean, Anthony Joshua is a legitimate two-time heavyweight champion of the world. He may have got destroyed by Daniel Dubois, but notwithstanding, there's nothing physically wrong with Anthony Joshua that he can't execute. Mentally, he might be in a little bit of a difficult position after the loss to Daniel Dubois. Jake Paul, if this is not going to be, curated into a little dance around exhibition, could find himself in a way of getting seriously hurt.
The highly awaited Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul bout battle has drawn harsh criticism from UFC President Dana White, who calls it a mismatch that compromises the ethics of professional boxing. Never one to back down from confrontation, White questioned the validity of a bout between a seasoned former world heavyweight champion and a YouTube phenomenon turned
brother, unfixable.
I don't hate your brother. You guys.
boxer. Fans are divided over whether the game is a clever marketing ploy or a blatant spectacle that devalues the sport as a result of his comments, which have spurred intense discussions on social media. Is my brother's burn bridge still unresolved? I don't despise your brother. You guys should engage in combat with other people their own size. White didn't hold back when he said that Joshua and Paul's fight doesn't make sense of boxing and could create a risky precedent where popularity and clicks take precedence over skill and expertise. He contended that although celebrity fights could result in enormous music pay-per-view figures, they run the risk of making the sport less of an actual measure of athletic ability and more of a circus. The stakes are much higher than many first anticipated because Eddie Hearn has officially revealed that the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul clash will be a fully sanctioned professional fight rather than an exhibition. What was once a spectacular matchup has abruptly turned into a real brawl with serious repercussions for both men's careers. Hearn warned that Paul could not realize the extent of the danger he is entering, emphasizing that Joshua is preparing as if he is up against a serious contender rather than a crossover celebrity. The boxing community is in a frenzy as the fight has been rescheduled for December 19th due to Tank Davis cancellation.
But we'll be saying to him, mate, Anthony hasn't boxed for a year and a half. Mate, Anthony dropped in his last fight. Anthony's head's all over the place. He's gone. So, listen, fair play. If he steps up and fights AJ, I will be the first to hold my hands up and go, fair fucking play. He'd have to be crazy to do it. He'd have to be crazy to do it. Jake Paul's never really fought anyone major, when's he going to step up and fight a real fighter? I mean, this would definitely be one way to kill that narrative, but it would be a dangerous one. If we're offered it, and the money that I know is inevitable in a fight like that, it would be very difficult for us to turn it down. And I know some people will find a reason to not like it and moan, but I'm just going to give it to you straight always. We were going to have a run out this year in an 8-rounder against someone in the top, 120 on BoxRec that you've never heard of. We could have a run out against Jake Paul, end him in boxing forever, get rid of this whole little silly thing, and make about 50 or 60x in the process. How can you turn it down? So if it's real, there is a chance. Jake's won fights that I didn't think he'd win. And Jake has got a lot better over the last couple of years. He ain't in Anthony Joshua's league, that's for sure. The only way this fight happens, if it's a fight, it's a sanctioned fight. I mean, ultimately, it's a cruiserweight stepping up to fight heavyweight. I mean, previously, what did you have? You had a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, but that was an exhibition. This is no exhibition. This is the 10-ounce big boys, and this is a real fight. We've already really got our plans with Turki Al-Sheikh for 2026, which is ultimately to fight Tyson Fury, but also to have another fight in February. We got the phone call to say, look, obviously Gervonta's out. Would you be interested in December? And the only other options we had for December was to do an 8-rounder on a card somewhere, which I didn't even know was going to happen. So I said to Nikisa, if you're truthful about this, which he assures me Jake is, then it could happen. So let's live in the real world, yeah? And let's just, everybody stay calm and make logical business decisions. What would you do, right? Please don't give me the, yes, but you have to think about the legacy here. You can't eat legacy, and legacy is so important. By the way, he's an Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time world heavyweight champion. The legacy's okay. I wouldn't let him not take this fight. I would push him in the ring to take this fight. So if you want to blame someone, blame me. Just relax. One, I don't even know if it's going to happen. 2, if it does, just relax. Enjoy us going in there for boxing and sticking one on his chin. We'll go back, we'll fight Tyson Fury, etc. So just relax. But how can you say no?
Following his convincing victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Jake Paul stated that his eagerly anticipated matchup with Anthony Joshua seemed quite possible for next year. However, the battle has been rescheduled for December 19th of next month due to the abrupt cancellation of his fight against Hank Davis. This abrupt change has only increased the excitement around the bout, with both supporters and detractors questioning if Paul is genuinely prepared to take on a former world heavyweight champion, or whether the rush schedule prioritizes show above athletic excellence.
Like the challenge, people, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Now, I know you're after a world title, but if that doesn't materialize, I know the Tommy Fury name has been floated about. Is there any other fighters who may not be world champions that you're looking to face?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Joshua.
I think that's the main one that, we've talked a lot about is if it's not for the top, if he's reasonable, and then Anthony Joshua. He's adamant that he wants to make that fight happen at the end of 2026.
Anything's possible. And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up.
The highly anticipated exhibition fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul, which was initially scheduled for November 14th, 2025, in Miami, has been officially canceled due to the continuing litigation and current investigation. Most Valuable Promotions issued a statement stating that they will not proceed with the event in light of the gravity of the situation.
He was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way, way smaller than Jake Paul. So that is just ridiculous, and I've given my thoughts on that before anyway. But now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations about domestic abuse. I don't know too much about the situation, but apparently Netflix have pulled the plug on that fight. It says, here's a tweet I'm reading from Mike Coppinger. As reported, Jake Paul's return could shift to December with the November 14th Netflix exhibition in jeopardy due to the latest allegations against Gervonta Davis. Sources tell Ring Magazine that December 12th and the 19th...
Courtney Roselle, Davis' ex-girlfriend, filed a civil action against him after an alleged incident that occurred on October 27th at a Miami nightclub where she works. Davis is accused of battery, aggravated battery, kidnapping, false detention, and intentional infliction of emotional distress in Roselle's petition. According to the lawsuit, Davis assaulted and dragged her through the club's kitchen, parking garage, and stairway, among other places. In addition to the legal case, Miami Gardens law enforcement confirmed that an investigation is ongoing.
Boxing champion Gervonta Tank Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend. This is according to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Courtney Russell says she dated Davis for 5 months and recently filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and other offenses. She claims Davis physically attacked her a number of times during their relationship. Russell claims the most recent incident was Monday at a Miami nightclub. Davis is scheduled to fight Jake Paul in Miami on...
In the boxing community, Jake Paul's bold criticism of two-time unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua has drawn criticism. Observers find it astounding that Paul would make such audacious statements about a boxer of Joshua's quality given his very minimal boxing expertise.
Just called Anthony Joshua out. Yes, Anthony Joshua, AJ, the two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. This brother called this man out. Oh my God. Now, in a recent clip on Jake Paul's podcast, I think, he basically said that he will beat Anthony Joshua's ass and he has no skill, no chin, and he's too stiff for him. He also apologized to Anthony saying, Anthony, I'm sorry, we're friends, but I know I can beat your ass. This guy is tapped in the head. Then again, he almost got a fight with Tank. If Tank beat Lamont Roach when they drew, he would have fought Jake Paul. It was lined up, basically. A lot of people get mad when people say he's the face of boxing. These highly rated boxers want to fight Jake Paul. So, I don't know what to say, honestly. But one thing for sure, AJ will never fight. AJ is too classy for that. Way too classy. He respects the sport of boxing too much to fight this guy. Absolute plonker. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments and make sure you follow for the most update.
In a commentary on Jake Paul's boxing style, mixed martial arts fighter Anthony Smith suggested that Paul pursues great boxers in order to earn large sums of money. Smith suggests that Paul's tactic entails using trash talk to provoke well-known figures, resulting in high-profile fights that provide substantial financial gains. This viewpoint is consistent with observations on Paul's matchmaking decisions, which have been a source of disagreement among boxing purists and frequently involve older or less...
Paul beats Anderson Silva. We should all fucking boycott the rest of his fights until he fucking fights someone that's on his level or whatever level we deem him to be on. You talk all this shit about MMA fighters. You talk shit about the UFC. Then you pretend that you want to bring fighters up and you want everyone to get paid better, but then you trash everyone every time they fight. Now we're putting food on your fucking table for you to drag our legends, older, shorter, smaller, past their prime legends that have spent their entire careers running their bodies into fucking car accidents, and we hold these guys near and dear to our heart. And then this fuckhead just pulls them out of fucking semi-retirement and then just knocks them out in fucking pay-per-view and then she'll shits on all of us. Go fuck yourself.
Jake Paul has stated that he wants a battle MMA fight to Conor McGregor. Thus his goals go beyond boxing. Paul has stated that his boxing abilities are becoming better while implying that McGregor's skills are deteriorating as he gets older. Given McGregor's experience and achievements in combat sports, this claim has been viewed with suspicion. Paul's remarks demonstrate his self-assurance and his tactic of taking on well-known athletes in order to improve his own reputation in the combat.
I think he has to come back and fight, but he needs to win.
Will he fight you?
I don't think he will. I think my skill level is outgrowing his boxing, and I have the height advantage. He can't beat me, and I think he probably knows that. And time, he's only getting older.
Because they think Anthony Joshua will defeat and humble Jake Paul in the ring, many fans are excited to watch Joshua take on Paul. Paul has become one of the most divisive individuals in combat sports due to his tendency to criticize professional fighters and declare himself superior. Given the huge disparity in Joshua's experience, skill level, and physical bulk, many people find his confidence in taking on Joshua to be absurd. Nevertheless, this matchup's potential has drawn a lot of interest.
Got to be taking the mick. Jake Paul has called out Anthony Joshua and claims, "I will fucking beat Anthony Joshua's ass." You know what? I want this to happen just so Anthony Joshua could just absolutely decimate this man right here. So first he fights Tommy Fury, a legitimate professional boxer, and he loses. Then he fights an OAP and Mike Tyson and beats him. Obviously, he's nearly 60 years old. Then he goes to try and fight Canelo, which fell through, thankfully. Then he tried to fight Tank Davis, which again fell through. And now he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, a legit world-level heavyweight boxer. Anthony Joshua is someone that I've always looked up to and probably one of my favourite boxers this day and age. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind Jake Paul here and there, but there's just things he does in the sport that I don't agree with at all. And fighting Anthony Joshua, listen, I'm all here for it, just to see him get knocked clean out. The fact that he can compete with these high-level boxers, even though he lost to Tommy Fury, is just laughable. But how long does it take for Anthony Joshua to knock Jake Paul out?
Frank Warren has commented on the unexpected announcement of Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, referring to the bout as a circus masquerading as a boxing contest. The seasoned promoter insisted that the match is solely motivated by money and hype rather than sports value, questioning why a former unified heavyweight champion would even consider entering the ring with a YouTuber-turned-boxer. Warren maintained that although Jake Paul has made progress, he is still far below Joshua's caliber as a heavyweight. He did concede, however, that the fight will attract a lot of attention from around the world and bring in a lot of money from pay-per-view. It's not the best boxing, it's entertainment. Warren warned that if such matchups persist, the sport could turn into a show.
My thoughts on it was that Jake Paul's had a lot of accusations over the years. For a guy who's had no amateur fights, what's he had, about 10 or 12 fights, I'm not sure what he's had. And, you look at the opposition, he's had people saying, when's he going to fight somebody? He stepped up. He's stepping up to a two-time world champion, a genuine heavyweight, a proper heavyweight champion, and an active. And this is a big moment for him, and you got to take your hat off to him for that. As regarding AJ, I'm sure AJ's wants a fight back after that unbelievable loss he had against Daniel Dubois, which is quite an emphatic loss. He wants to come back, get himself, dip his toe in the water. He's going to get paid a lot of money for this. This fight's going to generate a lot of money because for me, it's a fighter. Jake Paul's going to be a massive underdog against a big favourite, a big odds-on favourite. Can he do it or not? This is a car crash, and people will watch it because that's what people do.
Anthony Joshua was suffering with an injury and was not anticipated to return until at least August, according to Eddie Hearn's recent revelation. Joshua's scheduled fight with Daniel Dubois was initially postponed due to this announcement. However, this revelation has already sparked serious concerns regarding the recently announced matchup with Jake Paul on December 19th. Fans are questioning how realistic the December date is if Joshua is still healing. Some people think Jake Paul called him out knowing Joshua wouldn't be prepared, exploiting his name for publicity instead of a real contest. Others predict that because of the enormous financial stakes, Joshua might heal more quickly than anticipated.
We've heard absolutely nothing about it. Now, the Daily Mail are saying that Anthony Joshua is actually injured. Return timeline, as Eddie Hearns reveals, the heavyweight is unable to enter even training camp due to an injury setback. Anthony Joshua's estimated return date has been detailed after Eddie Hearn reveals the heavyweight has suffered from a setback. The British been out of action since he lost against Daniel Dubois in Wembley last September. With his future up in the air on the back of the devastating knockout defeat, fans have been curious to know as to what his next move is, with no announcements made, despite reports he could face longtime rival Tyson Fury as soon this year. Now, however, it's been revealed that Joshua is dealing with injury, as revealed by Eddie Hearn, when asked if Joshua could face Dubois in a rematch after the champion pulled out of his fight against Joseph Parker due to illness. Let's carry on. That's kind of a bit more of a miscellaneous stuff. No rematch with Dubois will be happening anytime soon, though, Eddie Hearn revealed, as he details when fans can expect Joshua's return to the ring. So we won't be seeing Anthony Joshua in the ring against Daniel Dubois for a rematch. That's not going to happen. I'm going to quote Eddie Hearn here directly. Now, it's interesting because Eddie Hearn hasn't really revealed much detail on it. Bear with me, it says, not a lot to report. Not a lot to report. Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn told AFL from Australia, look, he resumed training, and long story short, without going into too much detail about an injury, he's not really ready to start camp. He needs another 8 weeks or so.
Jake Paul's potential WBC rating has been criticized by Derek Chisora, who called it an outright disgrace to the sport. True fighters, according to Chisora, spend years working their way up the ranks. But Paul, who has only faced opponents who aren't ranked or who are past their prime, would only be promoted due to his notoriety rather than his achievements. That is a disgrace to boxing, he said, accusing WBC President Mauricio Sullivan of abandoning the organization's reputation for financial gain. That is not fair. Kesa emphasized that rankings should not be given simply for clicks and marketing hype, but rather must be achieved by genuine competition. Finally, Anthony Joshua has commented on Jake Paul's increasing prominence in boxing. Joshua acknowledged that Paul lacks mature boxing experience, but he also acknowledged that Paul has been beneficial to the sport in terms of financial success and large paydays. Joshua also acknowledged that Paul's ability to draw attention in self-fights has brought a new audience to boxing, something that traditional boxing purists may not always appreciate. It's interesting to note that Jake Paul has long praised Anthony Joshua and referred to him as one of his favorite fighters. Paul has previously commended Joshua for his achievements and boxing prowess, despite his current disparaging remarks. Paul's most recent remarks, however, seem to express dissatisfaction with the boxing business, asserting that too much emphasis is focused on politics and money rather than organizing the largest bouts. Jake Paul has brazenly proclaimed himself to be the only authentic fighter in boxing, asserting that he is the one who genuinely infuses the sport with enthusiasm and clears throat energy.
Yeah, good. Great for boxing. Good luck to him. He's trying. Zero amateur experience. Throwing himself in the deep end. I guarantee you he'll probably learn more than a lot of fighters will that are just half-hearted. Man's throwing himself in the deep end, putting himself under pressure. When you can deal with that amount of pressure, you have to get better at it.
Please share your opinions in the comment section below.